All right, get ready for this one because today we're diving deep into Bad News.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It's a Bollywood rom-com, and the premise is, well,
Wild.
you could say,
I'll
well,
say more like straight out of a soap opera.
yeah, that too. Okay, so this, we're talking twins, same mother, two different
I
fathers.
mean, come on. How often do you hear about that?
Never. Right. So I gotta ask, have you ever heard of anything like it?
It's definitely not your everyday occurrence, that's for sure.
But is it even possible? Or is this just some made-up movie magic?
Well, believe it or not, it is possible, and it's actually got a name, heteropaternal superfecundation.
Hetero what now?
Yeah, it's a mouthful, I know. Basically, it means a woman releases two eggs really close together, and they end up getting fertilized by sperm from two different men.
Okay, so TBO dads, TBO babies all at the same time.
Exactly. It's super rare, but it does happen.
Wow, that's wild. So Bad News takes this real-life phenomenon and, well, turns it into a movie. But how? Where do they even begin with a story like that?
All right, so picture this. Saloni Baga, she's an ambitious chef played by Tripti Dimri, and she's just separated from her husband, Akka. He's played by Vicky Kaushal. She decides she needs a fresh start, so she moves to Mussoorie.
Okay, so far, so good. New town, new life, right? What could go wrong?
Well, let's just say things get a little complicated when she ends up having a one-night stand
Oh, no.
with both Akhil and her new boss, Gurbir, who's played by Amy Virk,
Wait, hold on. She hooks up with her ex-ND, her new boss, on the same night.
on the same night.
Talk about a recipe for disaster.
That's putting it mildly, especially because the bad news is that she ends up pregnant.
Oh, I see where the movie title comes in. Pregnant after a one-night stand is already a lot to deal with, but with twins from two different dads.
Next level drama.
Totally.
Yeah.
So how does the movie handle this? Are we talking serious drama, tear-jerker territory?
Not quite. Actually, Bad News is a rom-com. And from what I've gathered, it leans way into the comedy of the situation. Imagine Akhil and Gurbir both vying for the title of Best Partner and Best Potential Dad.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Oh, also trying to wrap their heads around this whole twin thing.
Sounds like there's got to be some laugh-out-loud moments in there.
Oh, definitely. Think of it like three men and a baby with a Bollywood twist.
Got it. Some more laughs than tears. But is it just a wacky comedy, or is there anything deeper going on beneath the surface?
Well, one thing that jumped out at me is Saloni's character. She's not just some helpless woman caught in a crazy situation. She's successful, she's driven, and she's got big dreams.
Yeah, you mentioned she's a chef, right?
A very ambitious one. And even with everything going on, she's still laser focused on her goals.
I like that. So even though it's a comedy, it sounds like there might be a message about female empowerment in there too.
Definitely. And that's one of the things that makes this deep dive so interesting. We've got a movie that's based on a real life thing, but turns it into this funny story with heart. And it raises all these questions about societal expectations, relationships, what it means to be a family today. It's a lot to unpack.
And on top of all that, they throw in a remix of a classic Bollywood song from 1998, Mir Mahboob Mir Sanam. That's got to be a hit with audiences.
Oh yeah, that song was huge back in the day. Including it in Bad News is a total nostalgia trip, and remixing old songs is a big trend in Bollywood right now.
Smart move, for sure.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Bad News has something for everyone. Comedy, drama, romance, a little social commentary, even a dose of nostalgia. But let's be real, how did the critics react to this whole mix? Was it a hit, or did they totally pan it?
It was a real mixed bag, to be honest.
Mixed bag, huh? So some loved it, some hated it.
Pretty much. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at a 27% approval rating.
27. Yikes. That's not exactly a glowing endorsement. So what were the critics saying? What did they like? What didn't they like?
Well, some reviewers, like Bollywood Hungama, they were all about it.
What'd they say?
They called it a fun-filled entertainer and really highlighted the comedy and the chemistry between the actors.
Okay, so for them, it hit the mark.
Exactly. They loved the lighthearted vibe, the pure entertainment value.
Makes sense. Rom-coms are all about escapism, right? But what about the other side of the coin? What didn't the critics like?
Yeah, there were definitely some who weren't as impressed, like NDTV, for example.
What they have to say.
They basically said it lacked genuine humor and depth.
Interesting. So maybe it tried to be too funny and missed the mark for them.
Yeah, they felt like the comedic premise was stretched a bit thin, and it didn't really explore the emotional or ethical complexities of the situation.
I can see that. It's a delicate balance, right? You've
Yeah.
got this super rare, potentially sensitive topic, and you're trying to make it funny.
Exactly. And that raises a really interesting question. Can a movie like Bad News actually pull that off? Can you balance humor with something like heteropaternal superfecundation without, trivializing it?
That's a good question. It reminds me of that movie Juno. Remember that one? It dealt with teenage pregnancy, but it was funny and heartwarming at the same time.
Oh, yeah, Juno. I
Yeah,
love that movie.
me too. It dealt with some pretty heavy stuff, but in a way that felt real and relatable. Do you think Bad News manages to do that?
It's tough to say without actually seeing it, but based on those mixed reviews, it might not have hit that sweet spot for everyone, especially those looking for something a bit more, nuanced.
So maybe some critics felt it was too surface level, that it didn't go deep enough into the characters' emotions or the ethical dilemmas.
Possibly. I mean, think about it. Heteropaternal superfecundation has huge implications for everyone involved. Saloni, the dad's, it's got to be an emotional roller coaster.
No kidding. For Saloni especially, trying to process this pregnancy, figuring out how to co-parent with two different fathers, I
Right.
mean,
Talk about a curveball.
yeah.
Then you've got the fathers. How do they react? Are they supportive? Do they freak out? Do they start competing with each other?
Oh man, the possibilities for drama are endless.
And don't forget, this is a Bollywood movie, so we've got the whole cultural context to consider as well.
True. Indian society can be pretty traditional when it comes to family and relationships. So how does the movie navigate that while telling this very unconventional story?
That's a great point. Is it pushing boundaries? Is it challenging those traditional norms?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it playing it safe? It makes you wonder.
It's almost like Bad News is holding up a mirror to Indian society and asking, okay, how would you handle this?
Exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. We're not just talking about a movie. We're talking about its cultural impact, how it might challenge or reinforce certain values and beliefs.
It's like a conversation starter, sparking debate about family, relationships, what it even means to be a parent in this day and age.
Absolutely. But let's not get too caught up in the big picture. I want to know more about Saloni. You said she's an ambitious chef.
Right. Yeah, that's what I read.
So how does all of this affect her career aspirations? Does she put everything on hold? Or does she find a way to juggle it all?
Okay, so according to what I've read, Saloni is determined to make her dreams a reality,
Even with the twins on the way.
even with the twins. Her goal is to win this prestigious culinary award called the Meraki Star.
The Meraki Star. What's that all about?
Well, it's fictional, but within the context of the movie, it's like the highest honor a chef can receive.
So basically the Oscars of the culinary world.
Exactly. And for Saloni, winning this award is proof that she can overcome anything, achieve her goals, no matter what life throws at her.
I love that. She's not letting anything hold her back. Not even this crazy situation.
It's a great message of empowerment. It's like saying, hey, you can be a mother and still kill it in your career.
And that's a powerful message, especially in a society that often expects women to choose between motherhood and their professional ambitions.
So it sounds like Bad News is more than just a wacky rom-com. It's also a story about ambition, resilience, and defying expectations.
Definitely. It adds a whole other layer of depth and complexity to the film, something you might not pick up on just from the trailers or the marketing.
Right. So we've got a movie that's funny, thought-provoking, and potentially even groundbreaking in how it portrays women and family dynamics in India.
But we can't forget that it also got its fair share of criticism.
True, true. Not everyone loved it. Some people might find the humor insensitive, or they might feel like it downplays the seriousness of the situation.
Yeah, it's a tricky line to walk. Humor is subjective, and what one person finds hilarious, another might find offensive.
Totally agree. It's all about perspective. But even with the mixed reviews, Bad News was a box office smash. You said it brought in over 115 crore worldwide, right?
Yep, a total hit. And that tells me it really resonated with audiences, even if the critics were divided.
I wonder why. What do you think it is about this movie that people connected with?
Maybe it's the relatability factor.
What do you mean?
Okay, so most of us haven't experienced anything like heteropaternal superfecundation, obviously.
True. That's a pretty unique situation.
But the ups and downs of relationships, the joys and struggles of parenthood, the unexpected curveballs life throws at us, those are things we can all relate to.
I see your point. Maybe it's the movie's ability to take this crazy, out there situation and find those universal human experiences that we all share.
Exactly. And let's not forget the power of a good laugh. Sometimes we just want to escape, watch something light and funny that takes our minds off our own problems for a while.
Oh, absolutely. A well-made comedy can be the perfect antidote to a stressful day. So Bad News might be the perfect mix of laughs, relatable characters, thought-provoking themes, and even a bit of escapism.
And let's not forget that blast from the past that remixed Mir Mehboob Mir Sanam. I bet that brought back some good memories for a lot of
Oh,
viewers.
for sure. Speaking of that song, I'm curious, for those who might not be familiar with Bollywood music, can you give us a little background on it?
Oh, absolutely. Mir Mehboob Mir Sanam was a massive hit from the 1998 Bollywood film Duplicate. It's a classic romantic ballad, known for its catchy tune, heartfelt lyrics, and the beautiful visuals in the film. It's one of those songs that just transcends generations. Even today, you'll hear it at weddings and celebrations.
So, using it in Bad News is a smart way to tap into that shared cultural memory, give the audience a sense of nostalgia.
Exactly. It's like a musical time machine taking you back to that era. It adds a whole other layer to the movie.
It sounds like they put a lot of thought into the music and how it would enhance the viewing experience.
Oh yeah, music is crucial in Bollywood films. It's not just background noise, it's part of the storytelling, it heightens the emotions. It's a big deal.
It really does sound like Bad News has a lot going for it.
Yeah,
A unique premise, talented actors, that blend of humor and heart, the cultural commentary, and of course, that amazing soundtrack.
it does.
But now I'm really curious to hear what our listeners think. What stands out to you the most about Bad News? Is it the comedy, the deeper questions it raises, or something else entirely?
Yeah, chime in. We want to know your thoughts. Do those mixed reviews make you more or less likely to watch it?
We love exploring different perspectives here on the deep dive, so don't be shy, share your thoughts.
Okay, so before we wrap up this deep dive into Bad News,
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. The plot, the comedy, those mixed reviews, the cultural context, even the real love inspiration.
right, but we haven't talked about how it all ends.
True. And with a premise like this, I'm dying to know, how does the movie resolve this whole crazy situation?
Well, remember, we got two couples, two babies with different fathers.
Yeah, it's a lot to untangle.
And the movie goes for a pretty unconventional ending. Both couples decide to co-parent the children.
Whoa, really? So no neat little family unit, everyone just comes together and makes it work.
That's right. It definitely challenges those traditional ideas of family.
Especially for a Bollywood movie, right? That's pretty bold.
Yeah, it really is. It suggests that there's more than one way to create a happy, supportive environment for kids.
It sounds like Bad News is giving us a glimpse into how the definition of family is changing in modern India.
Exactly. It's saying, hey, things aren't always black and white. Families come in all shapes and
And
sizes.
that makes the ending even more interesting.
Definitely. It doesn't give you easy answers or tie everything up in a neat little bow. It leaves you with questions.
Like what?
Like, how do these modern relationships actually work? What are the challenges of these unconventional families? How do you adapt when life throws you a curveball like this? It's a lot to think about.
So maybe Bad News starts out as this lighthearted comedy, but by the end, it's touching on some pretty deep stuff.
Oh, absolutely. It's about family, love, finding happiness in the most unexpected places.
And that's what makes this whole deep dive so rewarding, right?
Totally. We're not just breaking down a movie, we're exploring the bigger picture, the human experiences it reflects.
Well said. Okay, so as we wrap up this episode of the deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought.
A little something to ponder.
We've explored Bad News from every angle, but the big question is, would you want to see this movie?
Does the premise intrigue you? Do those mixed reviews make you curious? Or maybe a little hesitant? We've given you a lot to consider, and now it's up to you.
If you do decide to check it out, let us know what you think. Is Bad News just a fun escape? Or does it leave you with something more to chew on? Something to say about how families and relationships are evolving in today's world? Until next time, keep diving deep.